Good. All right, my name is Jermaine Prince, and I'm the Operations Manager at the British Council for the product of Aptus. So I'm just going to cover just four key areas there to help you understand of the international delivery challenges that may potentially be faced, which would be who are we as the British Council, what is Aptus, because some of you may not be familiar with what Aptus is, global delivery challenges that we have faced, potentially face, and solutions of how we've gone about resolving them, as well as the benefits of support service for our clients. Now, I'm just put up a small part of the mission statement, which I'm not going to elaborate on, but you can actually see there in the slide from the British Council, and it's showing you of how broad our clientele is and what it is that we actually cover. But this morning, and from where I'm for my actual position, I will be talking about Aptus, which is one of British Council's products that uses Surpass to deliver English assessment. So, what is Aptus? Some of you may be asking yourself, what is it? What are you delivering? Well, to get you to have a better insight of what it is, I have a video that would answer those two key questions. It only takes about 3 minutes, but it's very engaging, very informative, so please take the time to just sit back and just watch this brief presentation.
Welcome to Aptus, a new service from the British Council designed to help organisations measure how well people understand and use the English language. Aptus is made up of 5 different parts. At the core, there's a central English vocabulary and grammar test. That's part of every Aptus package. But then there are 4 other elements: reading, listening, speaking and writing. You can choose the ones most relevant to your needs. Simple. Based on these elements, we have created 15 different test packages you can choose from. In fact, you can customize the test further to suit. For example, imagine you were running a call centre where the staff had to read technical accountancy manuals in English and explain the contents over the phone. We could tailor a speaking and reading package for you, even including language related to accountancy. This saves you time and money. You only test the things you actually need. You can also add your own logo to the test. It's customized to your organisation, so you ought to be able to put your name on it. Aptus is also designed to be as accessible as possible, meeting all the UK and international accessibility standards. Do it live online, or download the test and upload the answers later, or use good old pen and paper. In some countries, candidates can even do the speaking and listening test components by phone. Depending on what you test, you can get the results straight away, or at most in 48 hours. Test who you like, whenever you like, wherever you like. And you can manage the process yourself if you want to. Whatever works best for you. Even the scoring system we use allows you flexibility. In addition to the common European framework of reference, we also use our own scaled score, so you can easily compare different candidates. Aptus gives you a full report on every individual candidate, showing how they scored on each skill and their own personal language profile. Having different scores for each area gives you a very detailed and comprehensive picture of their ability, where they are doing well and where they need help. The unique way Aptus combines the score for the core and the skills components also makes Aptus very accurate. More accuracy means you can focus your training and recruitment even more precisely, meaning even better results in the future. In short, Aptus helps you make better decisions. With a poor quality test, you could end up putting the wrong people on a course, employing people who are not up to scratch, or risk benchmarking too low or too high. All poor decisions waste time and money. From governments to education establishments and corporates around the world, Aptus has helped many organisations to make better decisions about their recruitment and staff development. Aptus, flexible, accessible and accurate. A new standard in English testing from the British Council. It's just about the most complete English assessment you could wish for.
Okay, So all of that is all actually being delivered through the use of the Surpass their platform. Now, I'm happy to say that we've just recently celebrated 2 years of actually using the Surpass platform and actually facilitating these English assessments for the last 2 years. And it's actually been delivered in approximately about 68 countries right now. Now, in terms of the delivery of this actual product, it's conducted by the client. Now, I'm not talking about delivery of Surpass at British Council premises or equipment, but the actual test and the actual facilitation of the actual assessment is actually conducted by our actual clients at their actual venues themselves, as that video has highlighted. So, moving on to global delivery challenges. That's what this session this morning predominantly is all about. Well, over the course of 2 years, well, not 2 years exactly there for me, but obviously I've been doing my role for a period of time. I'm going to touch on just some of those areas, and some of those areas that I'm actually going to mention is fairly similar to what Maria's actually mentioned there as well. So the challenges: internet speed and the quality. So that's in terms of the connectivity, in terms of the various locations and that lot. Obviously, then the internet and the speed and quality in order to actually deliver the Surpass test for our clients, it can vary. Obviously, as you can understand, we're dealing with many countries where we have many schools that would actually want to facilitate this test. So obviously, connectivity is a key area in this. And the center infrastructure, which you touched on there earlier. And I think that is a common and a renowned problem, especially when you're dealing with anything which involves technology. So you have the things such as the equipment, in terms of does the actual location meet the necessary system requirements? Or is there particular things that are preventing the actual Surpass platform from actually functioning in order for them to then do the assessment in terms of a firewall or antivirus, or they may have configurations in the back end of their computers which are just actually preventing the actual program itself from actually running. And then obviously there's the computer literacy of our target audience. Understandably so, this is going to vary in different countries, but a key thing that we have to focus on in the delivery is not to assume that because of the actual location where it's actually being delivered, that their actual understanding of computers is essentially whether a positive one, medium one, or a negative one. So the adequate time before live testing. Now, this has been a common thing which is faced, and I was speaking there with somebody, as I've been speaking with various colleagues of you there whilst I've been here, that sometimes you would have centers that would try to essentially install secure client, set up necessary key codes of components, and then try to attempt to run the actual test on the same day. That's highly not recommendable. And a key challenge that we face there in delivering the Aptus product is the lack of the 24/7 support service. Because understandably so, obviously we're dealing with a global network, and because we're dealing with a global network, in some cases with the time zones, their weekends may actually fall from a Thursday, rather than a traditional weekend would be Saturday and weekend there for us here in the UK. So, the solutions. How have we gone about dealing with some of those few challenges there that we faced? Well, it's to understand the challenges through first-hand experience. I personally have learned and understood the challenges that our clients there potentially face by actually visiting the actual locations. It's very easy for me to be in my office in London and say everything's working fine on my side of things, but I think it's very important and an integral part in terms of our service delivery that we're offering to our clients by actually visiting the actual location in order to help us identify clearly what problems it is that they're actually facing. The solution that actually helps to facilitate that is to actually have a strong client partnership, which is to have clear communication and understanding, because if we have a clear understanding and if we communicate frequently, it will make things a lot more easier as we actually deliver what we need to deliver in order for these assessments to be conducted. I have on there internal sharing of lessons learned. Now, these internal sharings of lessons learned, it is knowledge shared between British Council centres that actually help with the actual administering of these tests that actually take place at the actual location. So what happens is it's not a matter of maybe somewhere in Europe or that would actually essentially have that information, but obviously then in the Americans and as well as in the Middle East, that knowledge is actually shared. So everybody has a fair and clear understanding of things that they may potentially face and ways of going about resolving them. And training local client administrators and invigilators. This is very key. It's one thing to actually install an application, it's one thing to install a software, but if you don't fully know how it functions, how can you facilitate it? And obviously a key part in actually then delivering these assessments is in order for the client administrators on location to actually have an understanding of the actual system that they're actually using in order to deliver this. And the key thing, as I've touched on there earlier, regarding the 24/7 support. We've heavily invested in our own 24/7 support. And why was that? Well, the reason being was that because, as I've touched on before, in the Middle East there, for an example, when I was out there recently, a weekend starts on a Thursday. And obviously then for us, because we have to then facilitate and then meet the needs there of our clientele, we want to ensure that there is some way or somehow that they can actually share or make known what problem they may potentially be facing in order for us to actually then help facilitate and fix that problem that they may potentially be having. So by us there heavily investing in increasing on our support that we offer to our clients, the benefit of this is that there is 24/7 availability to log and pass on an actual problem that they may potentially face. And then at least this way, then it can easily be resolved by common queries that may actually be raised, and that they can also be able to, and that they would also be able to know that wherever it is that they are, whatever time zone it is that they are in, that they have the ability to log that problem that they are having. So with that in mind, users in different time zones then have a clear process and have a clear understanding that there isn't any limits on where they actually are, but they can actually then report the actual problem that they're facing. And the new support model that we actually have put in place in order to help facilitate this, it has an active monitoring and measurement of capabilities in place. So we can actually then see what is actually being active, what's open, what's being resolved, just through the support that we actually there provide. And the bigger picture of all of this is that by actually making this support available to our clients, there's always the continuous room for service improvement. So as more and more things there come in, as the more things that we then learn, it enables us to then improve the service that we offer. Thank you for listening.